From demanding a fight against the Notorious in the lightweight division, to claiming that he'd enjoyed the whole thing. Here's how Alex Volkanovski has called out McGregor. I have to start with his wish to fight Conor at lightweight, because this might be it. Every fighter's been calling out his name ever since he announced his return to the octagon, but this time it's different. This time it isn't just another fighter calling him out. This time it's arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter who's called him out. The Irishman's preparing for yet another championship run in the UFC. But to get to that title, he's gonna have to overcome Michael Chandler, which obviously isn't gonna be a walk in the park for him. Even though it's still unclear which weight class suits him the best, it's highly likely that his clash with Chandler will take place at 170 pounds. In the meantime, however, the featherweight king, Alex Volkanovski, took to Twitter and issued a challenge to the former double champ. Volk reacted to a tweet from ESPN MMA regarding a fight between him and McGregor. The featherweight champ said, "Let's do it at lightweight." Whoa, and what did you guys think would happen after this? Obviously, McGregor responded to that tweet in the most McGregor way possible. He said, "The pound-for-pound #1, yeah right, needs weighing scales and specific divisions to fight me." I mean, isn't it the kind of response we were expecting from him? He went on to say that Volk's only proved himself in one division so far, and that Alex is nothing compared to him in the UFC. At least that's what he meant by that long tweet of his. But the Great kept it simple with yet another response. He responded to the Irishman's lengthy retort simply by saying, "Anytime, anywhere, any weight. Volk's ready, people." He's willing to take on the Notorious under any circumstances, but the former lightweight champ didn't take this response kindly too. He asked Volk if he was ready to fight him anywhere. Why did he ask for lightweight in the first place then? It was a proper exchange between the two. These guys were taking shot after shot at each other on Twitter. This is peak UFC. And in the end, of course, as he always does, Conor deleted all of his tweets. But not before Alex got the last word on the matter. He told McGregor that he's someone who can only say these things, but Volk's done it all. He fought at all weight divisions, and for him, it's much more than that. It's actually the Australian's dream matchup. Yeah, the guy's been long keen on facing the Irishman in the UFC. He's even expressed his wish on multiple occasions for this fight to take place. Right now, it seems like the two are on completely different trajectories in terms of their careers, but the featherweight king gave completely honest reasoning on why the Conor bout is his dream matchup. In an interview with the MMA Fan podcast, the 34-year-old Australian said that McGregor's the fighter he would have loved to face in their prime. He even said that this was a pretty easy choice for him. Volk said that McGregor's the only featherweight champ he's never fought in his life. Apart from him, he's faced and defeated every other champ in the featherweight division. And he's absolutely right. Not only it's his dream matchup, but it's also the dream matchup of every other UFC fan in the world. But the question is this fight really possible right now? Because there's a lot going on in their careers at the moment. I mean, there's no doubt that this fight would command the attention of MMA fans across the globe, but Volk already has one fight booked up for him. He'll defend his title against Yair Rodriguez at the main event of UFC 290 in July. So he clearly isn't free for another few months. McGregor, on the other hand, well, we're still not sure when we're going to see him inside the octagon. The former lightweight champ is expected to take on his opposing coach on The Ultimate Fighter, but the fight still hasn't been officially booked by the UFC. There are rumors that this fight will take place at some point during the end of this year, but then here's the thing. Conor still hasn't joined the USADA testing pool, and y'all know how long this thing takes. So, considering that he'll enter the testing pool first, then he'll take on Chandler, the timeline isn't really in our favor. We might have to wait another year to see this fight become a reality. But let's say that this fight is a reality. Who has a better chance of winning? Let's compare their records and find out. These records are something to talk about for sure. Many consider Conor to be the greatest featherweight of all time. I mean, after he dethroned the long-reigning champ Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds, many considered him to be the best. Even though his impressive record in lightweight is still something to keep an eye on, the Dublin native hasn't had the resume since Volk rose up to greatness. Still, the Irishman won each of his 7 bouts in the featherweight division. He defeated Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, Chad Mendes, and obviously Aldo in that time. It was one of the most memorable runs in MMA history. On the other hand, Volk's record is as impressive as it gets. He's won 11 straight fights since his second bout in the division. Since then, he surely has cemented himself as one of the greatest in the division to do it. Now, I know what you guys must be thinking. The Great's record is the same as McGregor's, and you're not wrong. The Australian does have the same wins as Conor, but with all this, Alexander also has 4 title defenses to it, and you're looking at an unbeaten streak too. So who'd win this fight? As of now, everything indicates that the Great will beat McGregor. I'm not taking anything away from the former UFC double champ. He's surely one of the biggest superstars in the world. But the thing is, he's way past his prime, and on the other hand, Alex is smack dab in the middle of it. He's lost only 1 fight in the past 7 years, and that too wasn't in the featherweight division. It was a lightweight bout against Islam Makhachev. Basically, he's still undefeated in the featherweight division, and Conor is only 1-3 in MMA matches since 2016. Plus, the fact that the Irishman's coming off a scary leg injury also raises doubts about his physique. We still don't know if he'll be able to compete at the highest level, or we'll see a massive dip in his performances. Nothing's quite certain right now. In his last couple of fights inside the octagon, the Notorious was nowhere near his best, and we clearly saw what happens when he's not at his best. Although he's working really hard to get back to fitness, but this is something we'll only find out about on fight night. And this isn't the only reason why he's gonna win. Alexander's a very well-rounded striker too. Also, he's used to fighting bigger guys than McGregor. The guy doesn't like to do anything too flashy inside the octagon. He likes to stick to the basics and plays to his strengths. Just listen to this. The Great landed 214 significant strikes against Brian Ortega at UFC 266. This is the second most in a men's UFC title fight. McGregor hasn't even come close to this kind of feat in his entire career. But let's not be unfair here. Conor's finished most of his opponents in his career. But the Dublin native is still behind Volkanovski if we talk about significant strikes per minute, striking defense, and striking accuracy. Also, for those of you who think that McGregor might be too big for him, well, that isn't a problem at all. Like I said, he's used to it. He trains with him all the time and has no problem in continuing to do this. Let's see if this time a call-out works for him, because it didn't work the last time. Oh yes, he has called Conor out before. It was back in 2022. Alexander claimed that he'd enjoy the whole thing if that fight happened. Technically, it wasn't a call-out, but he responded to a question about a bout with Conor by saying that he was ready. Volkanovski said that it's gonna be a really big fight. A lot of money's gonna be involved, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.